Hello, hello, hello out there in Internet land. John Banks Jr. here with a short message, a video message. I just wanted to share with you a conversation that I had a little while ago with a friend who was telling me they were having some type of dilemma, an issue that they were having. And she shared it with me. And what it was that she was concerned about trying to build a relationship that she was in. And she wanted my advice about it. And you don't want to ask me for advice because I'll give you advice. You might not like it, but I will be, honest and give you some advice. So she was sharing with me that she was trying to build this relationship, and in this relationship, she didn't feel that the other person was being as forthcoming as she was, as honest, as open as she was. And I just let her know, you settle for less, you get less. But if you want more, you wait until you can get more. And I began to think about that after I got off. The conversation went a little further than that, but that was the gist of it. If you don't want less, don't settle for less. And after I got off the phone, I began to think about how one time I had gotten a letter in the mail from a Cadillac dealership. And I've liked Cadillacs. I've had one. Yeah, I've had one Cadillac. And my father has been very fond of Cadillacs, and I've driven his cars, some of his cars. And when I got this letter that was giving me telling me about this great discount I would get at this dealership, and I was like, okay, well, cool. Maybe it's time for me to get a Cadillac. So I drove up there in my Chevy, and, and I went to look at Cadillacs, and I met this very rude salesperson who, when I went in with my letter and I'm walking in with my proud letter and everything, and just so thrilled because I'm thinking I'm going to drive a Seville. I'm going to get a Seville. So I began to talk to the sales rep, and he was very rude, and he just more or less let me know you can't afford this, and I was like, how does he know what I can afford and what I can do? He's just making this presumption from the way I look or whatever. Maybe Cadillac people dress a certain way, and I just wasn't dressed that way. But all the same, I walked out of the place with my letter in my hand, very highly disappointed. And before I could get in the car, this sales rep came out and kind of and he apologized. It wasn't a real whole heart apology, heartfelt apology, but it was as if someone had told him to go out there and apologize. And he actually asked me to come back in and meet his sales manager, I guess. And I went back in and sat down with the sales manager or office manager, whoever he was, and he began to apologize. And we began to talk, and he began to tell me about how much the Cadillac was and what the monthly payments were being and everything. And then he, decided, well, maybe I might be interested in another Chevy. And I said, okay, well, you put it that way, let's look at the Chevy. Since I'm out here, let me look at the Chevy. I wound up buying a brand new Chevy, and that was not what I wanted. What I had gone out there for was a Seville. What I had gone out there for was a Cadillac, Cadillac, a brand new Cadillac. And what I came home with was a brand new Chevy. And although it was a brand new car and I made myself satisfied, I feel good about having a brand new car, even though I had admitted to myself I couldn't afford to get the Seville after it had been broken down to me, the cost and everything. But what I'm saying is that when we settle for less than what we want, that's what we get. We get less than what we want. So if I had wanted a Mercedes Benz and I went to the Mercedes Benz dealership, I'm sure I would have settled for a Mercedes Benz because it would have been what I wanted, I think. But if I got in there and been told, well, payments are going to be so high, you might not be able to afford to do that right now. Because my credit was okay. There was nothing wrong with my credit. Matter of fact, my credit was so good once the guy ran it, he was kind of surprised. It went to the bank and everything, and I got the auto loan and stuff like that, and was able to make payments. And not only did I get a new car, I actually came back and put down payment on another car for my fiance because her car was not running too well and she liked my car. And so I said, okay, I'll, let's get you another car. Then my father went out there and bought another Cadillac, but he went out there. And when I would go out to the dealership, and I would speak with the gentleman who was there, and he would tell me, he said, you have brought in so much money, to this place. Too bad that first salesman didn't recognize that if he had known that you were gonna buy a car and you were gonna come back out here and help your fiance get a car, and then your father was gonna come out here and buy a car, all because of you coming out here and getting this car. And it was all because I settled. Because had I not settled, I would have never gone out there and gotten the Chevy when I wanted a Seville. So the important thing that I learned from that is, if you really, really, truly want something, don't settle for less. Don't settle for less, because if you truly, really want it, you'll do what you need to do to achieve and receive what you truly want. Yeah, you will. If I really, 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 from my heart of hearts wanted that Seville, I would have gotten that Seville, because I would not have settled for anything less. And if I had meant that I needed to go out and work 100 jobs or whatever, if that's what I desired to have, then that's what I would have gotten. So whatever it is you want out of life, don't settle for less. Do not settle for less. Do what you need to do, especially in a relationship. Don't settle for anything less than what you want. Because just like God wants us to give him all, we should want the same thing back from others. If we're willing to give all, it's a two-way street. If you're willing to do this, then someone should be willing to do the same for you. So may God bless. Peace.